Tonight, we delve into the chilling case of Gavin Plumb and the Holly Willoughby plot, a twisted plan to kidnap and murder a national television icon, uncovered just in time. Who was Gavin Plumb, and how did a quiet security guard allegedly come so close to carrying out an unthinkable crime? Here's your clue-based question for tonight. What chilling item, discovered inside the suspect's flat, revealed the true nature of his intentions? In October of the year 2023, 36-year-old Gavin Plumb was arrested for allegedly plotting to kidnap and murder television presenter Holly Willoughby. The case began with a quiet investigation and quickly escalated into a national security concern. Police responded swiftly, but what they found was haunting. It was early October when authorities received a disturbing alert involving an online conversation between Gavin Plumb and an unnamed person in the United States. According to reports, Plumb had allegedly recruited the individual to travel to the United Kingdom to kidnap and murder Willoughby. Law enforcement, tipped off to this cross-border digital plot, wasted no time. Essex police descended on Gavin Plumb's home in Harlow, a quiet suburban area tucked into southeastern England. What they found inside the apartment was far from ordinary and far from harmless. Police discovered what they later referred to as a kidnap and restraint kit, a chilling collection of tools, including rope, handcuffs, and knives. Each item appeared deliberately chosen, raising questions about how close this plan had come to being acted upon. As news broke of the foiled plot, Holly Willoughby was placed under immediate police protection. She did not return to her role on This Morning, leaving viewers and fans in stunned silence. For a woman who had become a household name across Britain, the idea of being targeted so specifically and so violently shook not just her family, but the entire country. Holly Willoughby, a name synonymous with daytime television in the United Kingdom. Born in Brighton in the early 1980s, she built her career from children's television to mainstream hosting roles. By the time of this case, she had co-hosted This Morning for over a decade, becoming one of ITV's most recognizable faces. Known for her warm demeanor, candid conversations, and professionalism, Holly had developed a strong connection with audiences. Viewers saw her not just as a presenter, but as a friend in their living rooms. She often spoke of her family, sharing small glimpses into her life as a mother and wife, a balance she fiercely protected. Her popularity made her a public figure, but that same visibility allegedly made her a target. The idea that someone would orchestrate a plan to abduct or harm her felt unimaginable. In truth, Holly represented more than just celebrity. She symbolized comfort, routine, and trust for millions. According to police statements, the threat to her safety was taken with the utmost seriousness. She was notified immediately and taken to a secure location, visibly shaken, but cooperating with law enforcement. What began as an anonymous digital tip had turned into an imminent threat against a national icon. This was no overreaction. The evidence, as would soon become clear, painted a dark and deliberate picture. And behind that picture stood a man named Gavin Plumb. Gavin Plumb was 36 years old at the time of his arrest. He lived alone in a modest apartment above a parade of shops in Harlow, Essex, and worked as a security officer at a local supermarket. Described by neighbors as quiet, perhaps even withdrawn, there was little in his public demeanor that suggested anything sinister. But behind closed doors, Plumb had allegedly created a digital persona that was far more disturbing. According to court documents, Plumb had been in communication with a man overseas, someone he allegedly encouraged to travel to the United Kingdom for the sole purpose of kidnapping and harming Willoughby. These messages, retrieved by investigators, reportedly laid out logistics, dates, plans, and even travel arrangements. Authorities also uncovered online activity that allegedly revealed an obsession with Holly Willoughby, including social media posts and digital tracking behavior. Though no direct physical contact had been made, the depth of digital surveillance was enough to spark serious concern. When police searched Plumb's residence, they discovered not only the tools of restraint, but also a chilling degree of planning. It was not an impulsive act. It was, according to prosecutors, methodically thought out. Gavin Plumb was arrested and charged with 2 serious offenses: soliciting to commit murder and inciting a third party to kidnap. He was held in custody and later appeared at Chelmsford Magistrates Court, where the courtroom was filled with media, security, and a heavy silence. The events leading up to the arrest of Gavin Plumb unfolded in the shadows of the internet, a place where disturbing intentions can sometimes take root unnoticed. According to law enforcement, the plan to harm Holly Willoughby was not a fleeting thought, but a sustained and deliberate effort. Plumb allegedly communicated online with a man in the United States, someone he had never met in person. The nature of these exchanges, as revealed in court, was chilling. Authorities say Plumb tried to convince the American man to fly to the United Kingdom, providing details about when and where to abduct Holly. He allegedly sent maps, schedules, and even discussed how the crime should be carried out. But it was not just the messages that alarmed investigators. It was the physical evidence found in Plumb's home. When Essex police raided his apartment, they discovered what they later described as a kidnap and restraint kit. This collection reportedly included zip ties, duct tape, a large knife, and handcuffs. Each item was laid out neatly in his flat, some stored in a bag labeled kit. It was as if the plan was waiting for a final green light. Police also uncovered a handwritten note containing what appeared to be a timeline, possible dates for abduction, and reminders like, "Stay calm and wait for signal." This suggested Plumb may have been preparing to act or was trying to direct someone else to. Court reports stated that one of the most disturbing elements was how ordinary the setting appeared: a tidy kitchen, a basic television, and a chilling plan hidden in plain sight. Fortunately, the U.S. man involved, whose identity has not been publicly disclosed, allegedly alerted authorities. His decision to step back and report the plot likely saved lives. Essex police moved swiftly, conducting surveillance and securing a warrant to search Plumb's home. When they arrived, Plumb reportedly did not resist. He was arrested calmly and taken into custody without incident. At the same time, security around Holly Willoughby was increased dramatically. She was removed from her home and taken to a safe location. She missed her appearance on This Morning, a show she rarely missed, and issued no public statement in the immediate aftermath. The country reacted with shock. The notion that a beloved public figure could be targeted with such chilling detail was nearly unimaginable. But the facts, as laid out in the charge sheets and seized items, left no doubt about the danger. This was not just a case of obsession. It was, according to investigators, an active conspiracy. And the question remained, how close had this plot come to being carried out? Law enforcement moved quickly once the alleged plot came to light. The timeline began with an international tip-off, reportedly from the man Plumb had been communicating with online. According to authorities, this man contacted U.S. officials, who then relayed the threat to British police. Essex police began covert surveillance, monitoring Plumb's digital footprint and behavior. They coordinated with counter-terror and cybercrime units, recognizing the severity of what they had uncovered. A warrant was secured for a full search of Gavin Plumb's flat, and officers executed it swiftly. The items found during the search, knives, restraints, and written plans, gave them the evidence needed to arrest and formally charge him. Authorities praised the speed and cooperation between countries, highlighting the importance of global digital crime response. Without that early intervention, the outcome could have been catastrophic. The investigation, while efficient, had also exposed deep flaws in how quickly online threats can escalate. Despite the quick action, forensic experts faced challenges in the case. Most of the evidence was circumstantial, but chilling nonetheless. There were no fingerprints on some of the restraint items, no DNA traces linking them to an imminent act. Instead, the case leaned heavily on digital forensics. Investigators examined messages allegedly sent between Plumb and the American contact. They traced metadata, confirmed timestamps, and gathered screenshots from chat logs. Digital storage devices, including phones and computers, were seized and combed for incriminating content. What they found supported the prosecution's narrative, but left room for interpretation in court. Forensic psychologists were also consulted, tasked with assessing Plumb's mental state and intentions. This wasn't a typical case of physical evidence. It was one shaped by intention, planning, and the chilling proximity to action. In this new age of crime, digital trails can reveal as much as bloodstains ever did. The public response to the case was swift and filled with disbelief. Fans of This Morning were shocked to learn that Holly Willoughby had become the target of such a dark plot. Online forums and social media lit up with concern, sympathy, and fear. Many expressed gratitude toward law enforcement for acting before anything could happen. Others questioned how someone could plan such an attack with seemingly little warning. In neighborhoods around Essex, residents of Harlow were stunned. Some had walked past Gavin Plumb without ever suspecting anything. What if this had gone unnoticed? Even for one more day. The British press covered the story with urgency and intensity. Tabloids featured headlines like "Plot to Kill Holly Foiled" and "TV Star Targeted in Kidnap Plan." Mainstream outlets reported cautiously, relying on verified police statements and court records. ITV, Holly's employer, released a short statement expressing support and confirming her absence from work for security reasons. For several days, the plot dominated headlines. News anchors spoke of internet safety, public figure vulnerability, and the blurred line between obsession and action. The media's role was both informative and unsettling, revealing just how thin the veil of safety can be. Although Gavin Plumb was the only person arrested in connection with the plot, early speculation circulated about the identity and intent of the American man involved. Authorities confirmed he was not charged, and that his cooperation likely prevented further harm. Still, theories emerged online. Was this part of a deeper extremist ideology? Had Plumb acted alone? Or was he influenced by darker corners of the web? Law enforcement focused solely on Plumb, finding no other persons of interest within the United Kingdom. However, the internet connection, both literal and figurative, raised uncomfortable questions. Could this happen again? Could someone else, motivated by obsession, move from digital fantasy to real-world danger? Theories were quieted by the facts. And in this case, those facts painted a portrait of a lone individual allegedly driven by delusion, digital isolation, and a disturbing sense of purpose. Gavin Plumb appeared in Chelmsford Magistrates Court in early October. He was formally charged with soliciting to commit murder and inciting kidnap. The courtroom was tense, filled with journalists, legal staff, and a few stunned locals. Plumb spoke only to confirm his name and address. He was remanded into custody, and the case was sent to Crown Court for further hearings. Prosecutors laid out the alleged plan in detail, citing the messages, the tools, and the urgency of the threat. His defense did not enter a plea at that time. Instead, they requested a mental health evaluation. No verdict had been reached as of this writing, and Plumb remained in custody. The court emphasized the seriousness of the charges, but also the importance of a fair legal process. Even in a case as unsettling as this, justice must proceed carefully and thoroughly. Even with the arrest and legal proceedings underway, many questions remain. Why Holly Willoughby? Was she chosen at random, or had Plumb built an obsession over time? What was the American man's full involvement, and why did he come forward? Would Plumb have acted alone if help had not arrived? There is also the haunting question of timing. If law enforcement had not received that tip, would the plan have succeeded within days or even hours? These questions hang in the air, unanswered and unsettling. A reminder that behind public personas are real people with real vulnerabilities. The case had a ripple effect across the United Kingdom. Public figures spoke out about their own experiences with threats and stalking. Security protocols for media personalities were reviewed. For the people of Harlow, the arrest of someone from their community struck a deep chord. If it could happen here, it could happen anywhere. Digital safety, mental health monitoring, and online radicalization became major topics of discussion. The boundaries between the digital world and the real world felt thinner than ever. And for many, a sense of innocence was quietly lost. And now, it's your turn to weigh in. What item found at the suspect's home hinted at a violent plan? Could a different turn of events have changed everything? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the edge of truth. As always, stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay safe.